Hello everyone, it's Nancy Amato, the Be More Stamper. Welcome, happy Saturday. Today is April 20th and we are inching ever so much closer to the launch of this new annual catalog. So I can show you the outside cover. I just cannot show you inside of the catalog until it goes live on May the 1st. So this is the beautiful outside of the cover, and we do have 5 new in colors for 2024 to 2026, and that is what we're going to use today to make this fun technique card. Isn't this just awesome? So I learned how to do this technique from Jay over at Mitosu Crafts. Barry and Jay are Stampin' Up! Demonstrators in the UK, and they have an awesome YouTube channel called Mitosu Crafts, and it's M-I-T-O-S-U Crafts. So I suggest you go over and have a little look at them. They are awesome paper crafters. So this is how I learned how to do this technique, and that is what we are going to do today as well. So I'm so excited to do this. I cannot wait to show you. It's so much fun, and it really is very easy to do. So you can see on my 2 cards, this one on the left I used with the pink at the top, and then this one on the right I did the pink at the bottom. So you can get 2 different looks using the same colors. I just love it. Now I need a birthday card this week for a special little somebody. So instead of a thank you card this time, I am going to use the happy birthday greeting from our Sweetly Scripted. This stamp set, this is a cling mount stamp set. So it's red rubber with the cling foam and stickers. And this is available now online. It is an online exclusive, and it is $24. It just launched March of 2024, and last I checked, it is still in stock. So this is the stamp set that I am using today, but I'm going to use the happy birthday. Alrighty, so let's get started. First of all, let me show you the new in colors coming for 2024, 2026. So one of them is Pretty in Pink. Some of you who have been around Stampin' Up! For a while might recognize this color. It is a returning color from our core collection from, oh my gosh, probably 10, 12 years ago. So, hey Heather, how are you? Thanks for joining me today. So Pretty in Pink is one of them. Summer Splash is another one. I'm usually like a pinky yellowy kind of fan, but Summer Splash is getting to be like one of my favorites now. Peach Pie is another in color, and we will have these colors for 2 years. And then Shy Shamrock. This is a really nice, bright, happy green. There we go. And Petunia Pop. Okay, so I'm still trying to learn all the new names of everything. So I may like fumble a little bit with this video because we are using new colors. All right, so today for this card, we're going to use Petunia Pop, Summer Splash, and Peach Pie. Okay, so I have these ink pads ready to go over here. And here they are. So let me show you the supplies we're going to need to make this card. So I cut this strip a little bit wider this time because the happy birthday greeting is just a bit wider. So I cut this at 3/4 by, let me see, by 4. Okay, this is basic black. This is what we're going to heat emboss the happy birthday on. Then we have another panel of basic black. This is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Now let's move on to our basic white. We have 3 3/4 by 5. We have a piece 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. This is the piece we're going to be working on, doing the sponging and the splattering with the water and the cutting. And then our card base is, as always, is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. And we're going to fold it right there in the middle at 4 1/4. Okay, so I am going to move all these other little pieces over here to the side. And we're going to work with this panel right here. So I am using my blending brushes. You can see I have done a few of these cards. So my blending brushes are pretty well inked. But I am going to open up our Summer Splash. Well, let's just open up one at a time. I'm less likely to make a big mess that way. Okay? Alrighty, so I have my glass mat here. By the way, Stampin' Up! Has said that the Glass Mat Studio will be coming back at some point. We just do not know when yet. So I have a piece of work paper here blocking the reflections of the lights. So I'm just going to work on this piece here. If I were not doing a video, what I would probably do is just work directly on the glass mat. But you can see all my 8,000 little lights reflecting. So for this purpose, we're going to use a work paper underneath of us. Okay? All right, so I'm going to start with Summer Splash. And I'm just going to ink up my blending brush with some ink. And I'm going to start off and then start moving in from one end of this piece of cardstock. Okay, this is a quarter sheet. This is a full quarter sheet. So it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Alrighty, so here we go. We're just adding that ink on there, and you can add as much or as little ink as you like. I like it to really be bold, so I'm going to keep layering this ink on here. And you're basically eyeballing it and just getting about 1/3 covered. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more because when we splatter it with water, it's really going to be beautiful. Because our classic Stampin' Pads are water-based ink, when we add water to it, we are going to cause that ink to run a little bit. And that is how we got all those fabulous little dots. Alrighty, so let me do another little layer here. I can always come back and fill in more if I want to later on. Alright, so that is Summer Splash. Let's just close this one up real quickly. And now I'm just going to flip it because I'm right-handed. And now I'm going to go in from the other end. I'm going to do Petunia Pop next. So here is our Petunia Pop ink pad. Alrighty. And again, I'm just going to load up this brush. I'm going to start off the edge a little bit because I want it to look pretty smooth. There we go. So we're adding in that Petunia Pop. That is a beautiful color too. It kind of reminds me of the really pinky, purpley blossoms of like a crabapple tree. I've been seeing a lot of like trees blooming in the area, and that's what it reminds me of. But it is called Petunia Pop and not crabapple whatever. So there we go. We're going about 1/3 again. Okay. If you go over the 1/3, don't worry, because we do want the colors to blend into one another. Okay. So we're going to call that done for right now. We can always add more. We can't take it away. Now let's add our peach pie into the middle. Okay. So again, we're just going to load the brush with some ink, and I'm going to start off the edge and then come in. I just love these colors. It reminds me of sherbet. Reminds me of ice cream. So we're just going to build up that peach pie. There we go. I know this is probably like watching grass grow, isn't it? But I wanted to show you how easy this is. And let me tell you, once you get started doing this, you will not want to stop. It is so much fun. All right, I'm going to add one more little layer. Okay, I'm going to blend it up in here into the petunia pop so that we don't have any white areas showing. And I can blend down into the summer splash a little bit. All right, I think that looks pretty good. This one looks pretty good as far as I'm concerned. What do you guys think? Now this is beautiful in and of itself. I could use this as a background and it would be just lovely. But wait until you see what we're gonna do next. All right, let me move my ink pads out of the way and my blending brushes. And let me just bring in a little bit of paper towel because we are going to add a little bit of water. Now I'm going to use a Stampin Spritzer, but I am not going to be spritzing on it. I am going to take out, unscrew this carefully, and I just refilled this, so hopefully I won't spill it everywhere. But I am just going to take out this little gizmo that's inside and then just use the edge of the spritzer to just drop some little drops of water on there. You can do as many as you want. From the looks of my samples, you can tell I like to do a lot of dropping. Like a lot of little drips of water on here. And you can see, let me hold it up a little bit. You can see how the water-based ink is reacting to the little drops of water. It almost looks like little bubbles or something, doesn't it? So you can keep on doing that as long as you want. And then if you want smaller drips, you can kind of just hit that on your finger and you get some smaller speckles as well. So I am just going to keep on adding water. Oh my, I should not have refilled that so far. If I spill that all over the place, I am just going to have to laugh at myself. All right, so we're going to just keep on adding some water until we like the way it looks. And like I said, each one is going to look a little bit different because of where the water lands. Now you could also do this with a water painter, okay? Or even like I can even put a big drop. I need like a big drop there. Even like a toothbrush with water or a paintbrush with water. Okay. I am going to call that done. And I'm capping this up and moving this over here so I don't knock it over. Alrighty. So you can see all of the little blobs of water there. I love this. Now, if you're doing multiples of these, I would say just set this one aside and let it dry. But since we're only doing this one, I have my handy dandy heat tool here. And we're just going to turn this on low to help dry this. We don't want to cut this before these little blobs of water are fully dry because we will end up not getting clean cuts. Ask me how I know, because I did that the first time. So I'm just going to turn this on the first notch on low. And just hit this with a little heat to dry it. Okay. Sorry if that was loud. Alrighty, so this is feeling pretty dry, especially in these really large blobs of water that I did. Okay, so I am now going to bring in my paper trimmer. And now is when we start the fun part, cutting the strips. So since this panel that we are going to layer these strips onto is 3 3/4 by 5, I did the math even though it's hard. So if I make these strips 3/8 of an inch, they should evenly line up on the front of here. So fingers crossed I can cut some strips that are 3/8. So we're going to look over here to our right. Here's a 1/4, here's a 1/2. So the 3/8 is right around here. It's almost lined up right with the 1 centimeter mark. Not quite, but almost. All right, so we are just gonna keep cutting strips. So 3/8, oops. And then there we go, 3/8 again. You're going to cut the whole panel into strips, and no, you do not need to keep them in order. Because those of you who know me, I probably wouldn't be able to keep them in order anyway, right? All right, another 3/8. And 3/8 again. And you can see now why it is important to make sure your paper is dry, especially for these big blobs, because you wouldn't want it to tear as you're doing this cutting part of the project. There's another 3/8, and we're going to keep on going. It gets a little harder near the end because you don't have as much to hold on to. But there we go. There's a 3/8. And then let me do this one. Okay. And what we have left here is a 1/2. I'm just going to put that one to the side right now in case I need it. I might not need it. All right, we can put our paper trimmer down now. All right, let's pull in our panel, our 3 3/4 by 5 inch panel. And I recommend using some of the liquid glue for this part of the project. Okay, so we have all of our strips here. Let me, oops, I had 2 Post-it notes there. Let me take off my Post-it note, get that out of the way. And actually, let me, just to make it, well, I guess it's okay. You can see it pretty well. I didn't know with the white on the white if you could see it very well. All right, so we are going to start with one of these strips, and I'm going to start all the way to the left. You can move either direction, but I think because I'm right-handed, I like starting on the left-hand side. So I have my liquid glue here. I am just going to run a real thin line of glue right up that left-hand side. Can you see that there? Let me raise it up a little bit. So yeah, you don't want a whole big long line, thick line of glue, okay? So what we are going to do is start, and I'm going to put the Summer Splash portion flush with that bottom left corner of the basic white. Okay, so you want to pick this up and make sure that your edge is lined up perfectly, or as close as you can get to the edge of this piece of cardstock, because it's just like sort of like laying tile or hanging wallpaper in your house. That first strip or that first tile, if you have that lined up and squared away, you will be good to go. All right, so we have that first strip on. Now I'm going to do another little line of glue right next to that. Okay, and this time we are going to make sure that the petunia pop end is lined up right at the top. So you can see, this is why I like using the liquid glue, because it does give you a little wiggle time, and you want to push that panel right up against the side of the other one. Okay, so those are our first two that we have done. So the first one, we have it flush with the summer splash. The second one, we have the petunia pop flush with the top. And we are just going to keep doing this pattern all the way down this piece of basic white. Okay, so there's that one. So this time, summer splash is going to be flush with the bottom. And we're going to have that right up against there. All right, and I slid that up a little bit when I was pushing it. Let me move that down just a little bit. Oh, it's so wet. See, I tell you, whenever I do my stamping, it is real life stamping, mistakes and all. Let's try that again, Nance. All right, let's put that down there. Hold it with your finger. There we go. That's pretty good. Okay. That is looking pretty good, I think. All right, next one. We're going to do another little line. And then this one is where the petunia pop is going to be flush at the top. Flush at the top. Oh my word. My fingers are not working today. There we go. Okay. And we're just going to keep repeating this all the way down. So talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to try to do this quickly, but I also want to do it the right way. So there we go. So what is everybody doing this beautiful spring day? It is gorgeous here in Baltimore. Nice and sunny. I can't believe it. It's sunny on a weekend. What? How does that happen here? Usually when Friday night rolls around is when we get storms for the next 2 days. All right, again, so we're just alternating every other one on how we place this down. Okay, here's the next one. So this one we're going to be flush at the top. And then this one here, we're going to be flush at the bottom. Like that. And then one last one. We're going to be flush at the top again. Oh my goodness, I did a much better job cutting these than my first one. There we go. So that is what we have now. We are finished with our glue. We can just let that dry a hot second here. And I even like turning it upside down and pushing it down. Okay, now we're gonna just grab our snips and look at it from the back side, and using the edge of the 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece of cardstock that we layered all of these strips onto, we are just going to cut right along that edge and snip off those little pieces. Okay, so there's one side. And let me just put these little guys into my recycling bin here. And now flip it over again. And now we're going to just trim along this side. There we go. Okay, that is looking pretty good. Pretty good. Hang on, I have a little bit of extra hanging over here. Just need to trim that off. Okay, so that is how you do that technique. Isn't it great? Now, when Barry and Jay did theirs, they actually stamped directly on to the front of this panel. But they were using like the Biggest Wish, I think, stamp set, which is a nice chunky kind of stamp. I'm using this really thin line scripty kind of stamp, so that is why I chose to heat emboss on a strip versus taking a chance and stamping it on here and not having it turn out. Okay, so let's bring in, I'm going to put this over here to the side for a quick second. Let's heat emboss our greeting. So I have our panel right here of basic black. Like I said, it was 4 inches by 3/4. Yes, by 3/4. And we're going to heat emboss it with white embossing powder. So we have our embossing buddy here that we want to just rub carefully over top of this piece of paper before we stamp it. And this just removes any moisture or static that might be on the page. Then we're going to open up our Versamark ink pad, and I'm going to ink up the happy birthday image. Now this will go off the edge of this, but I just want to make sure I have it well inked. And hang on, I need to slide this a little bit closer to my eyeballs. And then stamp that straight down and then lift it. It's sticky, so there we go. Pull that off of there. And this Versamark ink pad is really good to use for heat embossing because it is sticky and it doesn't dry very quickly. So I have all of my embossing powders in these little containers I bought from the dollar store. So I am just going to pick this up now and sprinkle the embossing powder all down the front of this card, this piece of cardstock. And then if any is sticking where I don't want it, just going to hit it from the back. Let's put this back on and move it out of the way. And I like to blow it off of there too if I see any stray little pieces that I don't want. There we go. All right, I'm going to bring in, where are they? My reversible tweezers so that I don't burn myself, because yes, I have done that before. All right, I'm going to need to turn on the heat tool, but this time I'm going to need to turn it on high, so it may be a little bit loud, but it will only take a quick second. All right, let me preheat it. Okay, that's all melted. So when you start off, it looks like sand. Whoops. It looks like sand, and then after you heat it, it melts and then it is shiny. It almost looks like a wet kind of ink, but that's when you know when it is all finished. Alrighty. So normally I would just probably put it down on my glass mat and maybe just hold it down with my tweezers, because the glass of the mat will warm up as well, and it helps the heat embossing powder to melt. All right, so let's bring this over here. Let's bring back in our panel. And now we're gonna pull in our 4 by 5¼ inch piece of basic black. And then this is going to go right on top of there, okay? Just like that. I really love how the basic black really makes it pop. So again, I'm just gonna use some liquid glue. Just a thin line around all 4 sides there. Okay, and put that right there on top. Now, we are going to decide where we want to put our greeting. So, and another decision to make is, do you want the pink at the top or the green at the top? So Petunia Pop at the top, or the Summer Splash at the top. So either one looks good. I think I'm going to keep, I think Peyton will like the pink at the top a little bit better. And then the next question is where to put the greeting. Do you want to put it right in the middle? Do you want it up here a bit or down here? I think I'm going to keep it up just a little bit higher than the middle. So for this, I'm going to use dimensionals. So let me flip this over, because I have not used dimensionals yet for this card. And let's just peel off the little pieces of wax paper. There we go. And just line that up. So I have the edges of the strips, the strip lined up with the edges of the basic black panel, okay? And just touch that down. There we go. All right, so next we're gonna bring in our folded 8.5 by 5.5 card. And then because I'm not mailing this and I don't need to worry about the postage or anything, I'm gonna pop this one up as well. So let's flip that over and add some dimensionals to the back of this panel. And then I'm going to put one in the middle and one on all 4 corners. My fingers are very sticky from gluing all those strips down. There we go. So we're just going to center this right there. And then there we have our card. I'm going to pull out another greeting from another stamp set for her and do that in the center of the card there on the inside. But no, if you would like, so remember we had this extra strip, you can put this on the inside, which is what I think I'm going to do. You can either have it all the way to the edge or have a little bit of the white showing. I'm going to have a little bit of the white showing. So this one is a 1/2 inch instead of the 3/8, but that's fine because I think if I try to trim it to 3/8, I will probably mess it up. So make sure, yes, I have the Petunia Pop at the top, so. And this will fit just exactly for this card, right there on the inside. Let me slide that over just a little bit, little teeny bit. There we go. So we have that little hint of the front of the card inside the card as well. I love that. Love that, love that. So that is how easy it is to do this. Oh, I just got my pre-order with some bling bling. Maybe let's add some bling to this. These are the 2024 to 2026 In Color Shimmer Gems. And if you were familiar with the purple In Color Shimmer Gems that coordinate with the lavender suite that's in the mini catalog, they are similar to that. That's what they look like. Okay, so they are very beautiful. They are sort of like faceted on the top, so you can really see that shimmer, and you get larger ones and smaller ones. So these are all of the new In Colors here. So we will use, let's put a summer splash up here. Let me grab my tweezers again. I am still on the hunt for my Take Your Pick tool. I think I put it someplace different than I normally store it when I was at the beach, and I have not found it yet. I know I brought it home because I didn't leave anything behind, but I have not found it yet. All right, so let's put a summer splash up here, and then let's do another smaller, let's do a petunia pop here. Pick this up. Whoa, I just shot it across my table. Come here, little guy. All right, and let's do a petunia pop here. Okay, and then the peach pie next to it. Let's do it down here where it'll show up in the summer splash. There we go. So we just added a couple little gems. I think she will like that. She is a bling bling kind of kid, so I think she will like that card. So I know she's not watching. But there we go. So Miss Peyton, your card is finished. So there we go. So that is this fun technique. Again, thank you Barry and Jay from Matoso Crafts for teaching us how to do this, and I was happy to take your idea and do it as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Quick reminder, the 2023 to 2024 annual catalog will end on April 30th. So will the January through April mini catalog. The retiring list is up. You can see everything on my website, nancyamato.stampinup.net, and reach out to me if you have any questions. You can order directly online right from that website. But things are starting to roll out of the warehouse quickly, and once they're gone, they're gone. And again, Sweetly Scripted is an online exclusive stamp set that you can purchase now. It is $24, okay? And the catalog number is 163600. So this is a great stamp set. I love all the greetings because I've already used the congratulations and a million thanks and the happy birthday. I need to make a get well card, so she'll be getting the speedy recovery from there as well. So thanks so much for joining me today. I am finishing up getting the mailing ready for the new annual catalog. If you need one and you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you live in the U.S., please reach out to me and I will be happy to send one to you. So thanks so much. I will see you all next week. Take care and have a great Saturday. Bye-bye.